Welcome back, sports fans. In this segment, I'm going to sum up the Pistons season. I believe all of us knew this was going to be a rough season for the Pistons, and this is very much a total rebuild on the part of Troy Weaver, for sure. However, with that having been said, there's a lot of hope and optimism within it, even though the Pistons only won 20 games, which is a fall off from what they won last year. First of all, they were able to trade Derrick Rose, and they got rid of Blake Griffin eventually, though they would have been better served, I think, if they would have tried to hold out a little bit longer to trade him, and if they could have bought out his contract for less money. Also, throughout the season, Delon Wright was traded to the Kings for Corey Joseph and the Kings' second-round selection that they got from the Lakers, plus their own second-round selection in 2024, I believe it was. With that having been said, the core of the team was established, with Jeremy Grant being the lead scorer, Mason Plumlee primarily being the rebounder, along with the development of Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart. With that having been said, the Pistons managed to beat 8 of the playoff teams and possibly 9 if the Grizzlies make it to the playoffs by beating the Warriors tonight. And I believe that game's in progress right now as I speak. 6 of the teams were from the East. Where the Pistons didn't do so well is they didn't win their first road game until mid-January, and they wound up with the worst road record in the NBA. The other place where they struggled is they only won 1 game within their division. Next year, they certainly are going to have to improve upon those for sure. With that having been said, I believe the Pistons' greatest highlight was on January 28th, where they hosted the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers and proceeded to beat them 107-92, shutting down LeBron James in the second half, and I believe they held him to 2 or 4 points, as I recall, but feel free to play my summary of that, because it's in there. Also, the game in LA, they could have won as well, but Lakers outlasted them. So they played 2 really tough games against the Lakers. They beat the Celtics twice throughout the season, and although we didn't know that the Celtics were going to have a falling off like they did, it's still very impressive. Unfortunately, the downside to all this is that the Pistons started tanking the last quarter of the season or so, and they were blowing out their last 3 games. Pistons wound up finishing 27th in scoring in the NBA. However, they were the 10th best defensive team. Jeremy Grant led the way in scoring, averaging 22.3 points. Mason Plumlee averaged 9.3 rebounds, and they roughly played 3 quarters of the season. And Delon Wright was their leading assist person for the time he was there, averaging 5 a game. In the next segment, I'm going to discuss the Pistons' upcoming draft and who I think they ought to take, as well as some other things I think are going to happen now that their season is over. Stay tuned to the Detroit Pistons tonight on Ed's Sports Channel.